Hello there, you're listening to Ebird Online, and I'm back with another review. I hope everybody's sitting nice and comfortably for the second part of my tell-all review for 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 5. So guys, I'm still reviewing part 1, but I split it into 2 parts. There were far more talking points than I imagined, and I think this might be because people have got quite slick-mouthed when they're on Zoom, and they say far more than they ever would do face-to-face. Yes, Libby, that's you we're talking about. So just before I begin, I very quickly want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. I'm very close to 35,000. If you haven't done so yet, just click that red button and join the Ebird family. Also, don't forget to press like if you enjoy the video. So guys, let's get into the review. So next we're going to be talking about Love's Young Dream, Angela and Michael. And as we saw previously, Angela's wearing a mask. And she claims it's because she has an abscess. And she wants to attempt to keep it clean. An abscess. I don't know that I thoroughly believe it. The Ebird bullshitometer is peaking. Guys, if you notice, she seems to have a slight lisp. So I've got every reason to believe that she's had some dental work of some sort done. Maybe she's got a brand new set of teeth. Or maybe she's had false teeth. Who knows, but I've got a feeling it's not the abscess that she says it is. I guess time will tell. I guess another thing, she could have had her lips done or something like that. Or maybe somebody's given her love bites. Something tells the Ebird it's not an abscess. And Sean begins, Angela, why don't you trust Michael? And Angela says, he gives me a reason not to trust him. And guys, to a point this is true, but there are 2 sides to every story. Michael does tell an awful lot of lies, but Angela, I think, entraps him in those lies because she asks him really innocent questions. And he knows if he answers a certain way, she will go absolutely ballistic. So she'll say something like, oh, you went to a birthday party last week. Were there any women there? So of course he'll lie and say, no, it was just the guys. And then later on, of course, Michael completely forgets his lies. And somebody will refer to the party and let it be known there were girls there. And then she'd say, oh Michael, I can't believe you're lying again. And yes, she's right, he is lying. And she's right again, he shouldn't be lying. But what's the alternative? Her kicking off about absolutely normal behaviour. So I don't know, what's a man to do? The year is 2045. Angela's on her deathbed.
Michael, who was that girl you was looking at in the strip club back in 2020? Please just tell me.
Because Angela never ever gives up on a story. Like a cadaver dog, if there's a potential lie, she'll sniff it out. And Sean says, what do you think Michael's doing if he doesn't answer his phone?
He's getting a BJ.
And she laughs absolutely crazily. And then she says, only joking. Really, Angela? Many a true word spoken in jest. Then we go back down memory lane, another whole 7 days, and we discuss the strip club that Angela and Michael went to for their joint bachelor and bachelorette night. And so they show a few scenes of the strip club, and it's mainly scenes of Angela saying,
I'm here to tell you he better be on his best damn behaviour. Michael better keep his eyes on me.
And this in turn leads to a general debate about the validity of strip clubs. So we see footage of a girl twerking right in front of Michael, and of course he was looking. In other unbelievable scenes, he also apparently looked at a girl on a podium too. And as we know, Angela and her friends stormed out, forcing Michael to join them.
I didn't go to this party to watch Michael look at tits and ass.
We know, Angela, you went to this party to prevent Michael looking at tits and ass. You were unsuccessful and you failed miserably. From what I've seen of Michael, you'd have had more chance trying to help King Canute stop the tide. And so in the taxi home she was kicking off. And Angela said, can you imagine what they do when I'm not there? Breathe. And then she said, the problem is my age. I'm really old. And I think that Michael desires a younger woman. You don't say. And then Jen pipes up.
I would have never stepped in there. And by that I mean Nigeria. There's so much poverty.
And Sean said, why did you go? And Angela said, I didn't know it was going to be a strip club. And then Michael says he didn't know either. So Michael, you don't know the name of the local strip club in the town that you live in? Oh please. I bet my bottom dollar when he walked in they said, do you want your usual, Michael? But as we all know, his friends don't particularly like Angela, and I think they wanted to do it just to cause trouble. And Sean asked Michael, why did you go to the strip club and take Angela? And Angela said, for you to look at younger women in my presence. I'm thinking I should be marrying another man. Angela, the other man said he doesn't want to. Just thought I'd let you know. And in some ways, Angela thinks that Michael disrespected her. Well then, who better to butt in and clarify the situation than Colt? Who? Yep, that's right, Colt. So he said, Michael, you should have stepped up and defended Angela's honour and defended her insecurities. You had one chance. You should have said, let's go home right now. Colt, you have whole girlfriends, whole fiancés, whole wives, and during that time you pay for porn on the internet and you text photos of your privates to other women online. And you think you can fix your mouth to talk about somebody going with their fiancé to a strip club? My God, Colt really is something else. And then Angela tells of how she danced with Michael's friend, Dre, to make him jealous. And Michael says he wasn't jealous at all because he trusts his friend Dre. The real reason was, of course, Michael was so busy looking at tits and ass, he didn't even notice. And Angela said she could see Michael sneaking looks at girls. But then Larissa joins the fray with her socio-bioeconomic take on strippers. Because Sean asked Larissa if she'd mind if Eric got a lap dance in a club. And Larissa said no, the girls just want to make money, it doesn't mean they fancy your boyfriend. Hello Larissa. 1. I don't think Eric would ever have the need to purchase a dance off a girl at a strip club, that's for sure. But guys, take a trip down memory lane with me. Remember when she went to look at wedding venues with Colt, and Colt said to one of the waitresses, I like your glasses. Larissa absolutely threw a fit. She forbade him to look at her, she forbade him to talk to her. And she said, I always want you to compliment me before complimenting anybody else. You're a whore, Colty, you're a whore. But by the same token, she expects us to believe that she wouldn't be bothered about her current boyfriend getting a whole lap dance, paying for a whole lap dance. Well, guess what, guys? I believe her, and do you know why? Because I don't think that her and Eric are anything more than business partners. This just confirms to me that she did like Colt, and that she's not at all interested in Eric in a romantic way. And I've got a couple of subscribers that think the same thing as well. Cats454 said, I wondered why Eric's attitude seemed more like that of an investor rather than a boyfriend. Now I see where his cash advance likely grew a bit of interest, along with Larissa's new attributes. And Sharon Taryn says, I think Larissa's guy entered into a business arrangement with her. She had the work done on his dime in order to do her nudie thing, and she pays back and they share the proceeds. Sharon, I make you right. But then in the middle of all this chit-chat about strippers, Libby piped up. Of course Larissa's not bothered, she's a stripper herself. And guys, this really surprised me because I don't understand why both of them are trying to dig Larissa out just so much. Also, Libby, what does it have to do with you, what somebody else does for a living? And I don't really recall any previous beef between Libby and Larissa. But maybe there was, guys. If you remember it, let me know. And then we move on to Angela's wedding day. Sean says you look stunning. And Debbie and Colt again jump in and say, beautiful. What is this with Debbie and Colt? They seem to be backing Angela up in everything. And whilst they were talking over that moment, Angela gets up and leaves in tears, and Michael lets us know it's because her wedding day reminds her of her mum who recently died. And finally Shane said, how has the pandemic affected you guys seeing each other? Not at all, Sean, because they live in different countries. And in a rare contribution, Mr. Ebird thinks that the current pandemic has very possibly extended the length of their relationships. And then Sean turns her attentions to Colt and Jess. And Sean said, how do you feel about Jess today? And Colt said, we haven't spoken since we split up, it's over. She might as well be a stranger. And Jess said of Colt, he's terrible. And Sean said, what happened in your relationship? And Colt said, come on now Jess, you wanted to change me. You wanted to change the way I lived. You wanted to change the way I looked. You wanted to change everything about me. You didn't love me at all. And the whole time he's saying this, he's squinting at the camera and posing in a Zoolander type manner. Colt mistakenly thinks he's hot stuff. But again, I can't believe the hypocrisy. Colt says you wanted to change me. Colt, you wanted to change you. Just last week, you were speaking to your so-called friend, a friend that we've never seen before, a friend that I believe was on TLC's payroll, but a friend nevertheless. And you said, I need to change. I want to start with changing me. So you want to change you. Colt, you wanted to change the way that you live. Just last week you had a chat with Debbie and you said, cease doing my washing, stop making my bed. That's what you wanted, Colt. You wanted to change the way that you lived. Stop mollycoddling me, Mum, and I don't want to have to tell you everything about my life. Colt, you want to lose weight. You lumbered around an outside gym like a blind rhinoceros in an attempt to effect that very change. So don't talk about if Jess wanted to change you. You wanted to change yourself. And stop squinting at the camera as if you're hot stuff. You're really not. And then Jess said, well, he said he wanted to marry me and he wanted kids with me. Colt, you did ask her dad for a hand in marriage. And Colt said, come on, sweetheart. You manipulate men with sex. You slept with me immediately. And then Jess said, you sent pictures and videos to 8 different girls. And Sean said, why was that? What was that about? And Colt said, well, we were fighting after we got back from Brazil. And Jess said, no, some of the pictures were sent sent before we went to Brazil. And Colt said, I sent the pictures because that's what I do for affection. When I think my girl has 1, broken up with me, 2, doesn't give me any affection, 3, has sex with other guys. And you can tell at this point he's doing a big head switcheroo, trying to get us all to believe that Jess didn't like him and Jess wanted to change him and Jess was cheating on him, instead of the narrative that he said previously that he cheated on her and he was very sorry. He hasn't seen Jess since they last filmed together, so if you haven't seen her, how do you suddenly know now that she cheated on you with all these different people? But yet you've never tried to confront her about it. But as Colt was talking about his dick pics, Angela said, I wish you'd sent me one. And Colt said, I'll send you one if you want. Angela, you're a married woman. Think about what you would say to Michael if he asked Larissa for one of her cam soda pics. Just think about that. And then Larissa piped up and she said, I've seen screenshots of him that women have sent me when he was actually married to me. And Jess said, you'll never ever be happy, Colt, because you're a bad person. And then we look at Larissa's warning call to Jessica. And Debbie said, you ruined the relationship, Larissa, not me. Larissa, why did you call her? You should never have called her. And Jess said, you ruined it, Debbie. You came to Brazil and you were rude to my family. And whilst Jess is talking, Colt says, I can't understand a word that Jess is saying. The Ebird will paraphrase for you, Colt. You are a massive. See you next Tuesday. And next up we get to current victim Vanessa. And Sean asked, did you and Vanessa ever have a sexual relationship? And Colt said, no I didn't, we were just friends. And then Debbie said, nope, not at all. Debbie, how would you know? Were you in the bedroom at the same time? Why does she have to pipe up, guys? And Jess said, you're a liar and a narcissist, I think you did. And Sean said, what, so you never slept together? And then Colt said, well, we slept together before we met. And then he continued, and then after we broke up, I slept with her some more. So Colt, 5 seconds ago when you just said, no, I didn't sleep with Vanessa, we were just friends, that was an effing lie, wasn't it? Colt's such an outrageous liar. He's just denied it, and he lies so much he cannot keep track of his lies. And then Sean tells us that we'll see Vanessa later, and that's the end of the segment. The Ebird's thoughts on Colt are thus. Colt needs to work on every aspect of himself. It seems he's only working on his weight, which is the least offensive thing about him, as far as I'm concerned. Also, I have a question for Colt. Colt, have any of your victims ever tried to take legal action with the use of the Trade Description Act regarding the photos that you've sent to them? You've deliberately misled these women into thinking the photos would be of a sexual nature. You lied. They're of a repulsive and disgusting nature. And for that, you should pay. Guys, I'm so sorry these videos are taking so long. I'm going to do a final video with Kalani and Asuelu tomorrow, and that will be the third and final part. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Colt's disgusting as I do for trying to turn the whole thing back onto Jess? Can you not just admit you treated her badly and leave it at that? He's a little bit less Colt and a little bit more potato gun. Do we think that Eric and Larissa are nothing more than business partners, and that Eric owns a 45% stake in Larissa's new breasts? I think he probably does. And do you think there's any realistic way that Michael was ever going to not look at tits and ass in a strip club? I'm a heterosexual female, and even I would have looked. Angela, if you think any red-blooded male would not look, you're highly delusional. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below. Has everything backfired for Colt? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Help me hit 35,000 subscribers. And I will see you very soon. And don't forget to smash that like button if you've enjoyed the video. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.